Welcome to the Betrayed Michael channel. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We talk about truth, betrayal, and bouncing back stronger. I was out in the garage, hands deep in my '71 Chevelle. That car had been in the family for generations. Some folks said I only kept it running to look cool. Sure, it was a beast, loud, fast, a real head-turner. But that's not why I was always out there. For me, it was therapy. Every time I polished the hood or tightened a bolt, it felt like I was talking to ghosts. My parents, both gone way too soon. I loved them more than life. That car wasn't just steel and rubber. It was the last thread holding me together. I'm Jack Carter. I remember my old man pulling me out of school just 'cause I aced a math test. We'd take the car and just drive, no plan, no map. Hit a diner, maybe catch a movie. Those days were magic. He met my mom in that car. Hell, I was probably conceived in the back seat. Still makes me grin when I fire her up and hear that 700-horse engine growl. It ain't a car, he used to say, it's a damn monster. I looked up at an old photo on the wall. Me, probably 6 years old, standing between them, Mom, Maria, soft smile and jet black hair, Dad, Luke, all tattoos and tank tops. I miss you guys, I muttered. They were killed just after I graduated. Bank robbery gone sideways. The guy slammed right into them during his getaway. Saw them looking, knew they could ID him, so he pulled the trigger. Cops took him out later that day, but it didn't fix the hole he left in me. And then, there was Shelley. I said her name under my breath like it might bring her back. But what followed wasn't healing, it was lies, chaos, and pain. Some twisted part of me was glad my parents weren't alive to witness it. Damn, I muttered. How long's it been? That's when I heard the footsteps. Heavy ones. I looked up. She was walking down my driveway, maybe late 20s, short blonde hair, icy blue eyes, and an athletic build. German, maybe? She stared me down like I'd kicked her dog. I had no clue who she was, but it was clear she knew me. Can I help you? I asked. She didn't answer. Just glared and said, you selfish piece of crap. I raised a brow. Okay, angry lady. I don't know who the hell you think I am, but you'd better turn around and keep walking. She didn't. Instead, she snapped. Swung at me. Screaming, you ruined everything. I didn't hit back, didn't need to. I caught her wrist, spun her around, and sat her hard on the bench. Her eyes went wide in shock. I leaned in, voice low and cold. We're done here. I don't know who you are, but you come at me like that again, I'll knock you on your ass, woman or not. You feel me? She froze. I'm letting go now. Start talking. And keep it calm, 'cause next time, I call the cops, press charges, and make sure the cuffs ain't comfy. See those cameras? Everything's recorded. She looked up, saw the lenses, and went pale. We good? I asked. She gave a tiny nod. I stepped away, grabbed 2 Cokes from the cooler, made sure she saw me slip a screwdriver into my pocket, just in case. I handed her a can. So, I said, cracking mine open, do you always start conversations by throwing punches, or is today just special? She sighed. You're right. I shouldn't have come at you like that. But I'm not talking back what I said. You're a piece of crap. I smirked. Fair enough. At least you're honest. Now, what the hell do you want from me? She stared hard. You really don't know who I am, do you? I blinked. Should I? Her voice cracked. It's me. Emily. I'm your daughter. ChatGPT. Here's the rewritten part 2 of the story, keeping everything per your instructions, same tone, meaning, flow, and within 3,000 characters. Your mom used to coach cheerleading back at her old high school, and she was damn good at it. 3 national titles under her belt. I gave her a soft grin. And you? I said. You were pure magic. Smart, hilarious, full of heart. I loved our little family. Even your grandparents, who couldn't stand me at first, eventually came around. We weren't close, but things got decent. I'd relive those years in a heartbeat. Emily smiled through her tears. Remember when I made you laugh so hard chocolate milk shot out your nose? I let out a chuckle. Hell yeah. Your mom was furious. Said the couch was ruined. I hit it with club soda and elbow grease. Mostly got it out. We laughed, but then her face fell. Her voice dropped. If those were the best years, then why'd you leave? I sat still for a second. Breathed deep. Things started to shift when you turned 8, I said. It was your birthday. We were headin' to Chuck E. Cheese. Your mom was setting everything up. I offered to lend a hand. She snapped at me. Said not to screw it up, then kissed me hard and gave me this strange look. Told me it was just work stress, promised to make it up to me that night. And she did. That night, after we tucked you in, she was different. All over me. Trying hard. I brushed it off at the time. Next morning, she was gone. Left a note. Made you breakfast. Off to a meeting. Love you. I believed it. But something inside felt off. On the surface, everything looked perfect. I had clients all over, planes, cars, custom wiring. Your mom kept coaching. You were crushing school. But that feeling in my gut wouldn't quit. Then I bumped into Janice, one of her coworkers, at the store. I joked about some teacher meeting your mom mentioned. Janice blinked. What meeting? She looked confused. Said there hadn't been one. I lied. Played it cool. Said I must have mixed it up. But in that moment, I knew. I came up with a plan. Took a day off. Told Laura, your mom, I had a big job. Drove out like normal, then circled back. Parked at my buddy Rob's shop, swapped cars for his old Impala, and followed her. You were in school. She left like she always did. 15 minutes out of town, she pulled into a motel. Emily's face dropped. She walked in alone, and came out holding hands with Todd Miller. That name landed like a brick. Yeah. That same arrogant prick from her high school. Built like a damn fridge. Thought he owned the place. School superintendent now, if you can believe it. I'd run into him before, school event. He made a move on her, thinking I wouldn't react. I told him to back off. He shoved me. I twisted his wrist till he nearly pissed himself. Your mom got pissed at me, said I embarrassed her. Looking back now, I think I let him off easy. Anyway, I followed them to his place. They had a bag, and trust me, I worked at a strip club back in my 20s. I know what kind of bag that was. I took notes. Where he lived, what he drove, who he saw. I wanted the full picture. Then I drove home like nothing happened. Walked through the door. There she was, Laura, humming while she cooked my favorite marinated chicken. Kissed me like she hadn't just had another man's mouth all over her. I wanted to explode right there. But I didn't. I smiled. How was your day? I asked. She kissed me again. Rough, she said. But I think the results will pay off in the end. I leaned back in my seat, face calm but heavy. I reached into the binder and pulled out an old phone. Handed it to Emily. It's ready. Just hit play. Her fingers trembled as she tapped the screen. There it was. Her mom, Laura, wrapped around Todd like a damn teenager. Kissing, laughing, touching each other like they were in a movie. Then came the black bag, the one Emily recognized immediately. Hand in hand, they disappeared into the motel. Screen went dark. Emily bolted out the door, and a few seconds later, I heard her puking in the yard. I didn't follow. Just sat there. Not ashamed. Just sad. I knew her world had just shattered. She'd clung to one last belief, that maybe one parent had been the good guy. And now that was gone too. She came back in, pale and shaking. I handed her a glass of water. I didn't know, she whispered. She never told me. Said you left. Said you found someone else. I hated you. I blamed you. She broke down sobbing. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I looked at her, firm but gentle. It's done. Let it go. I took a breath. Once I knew, I used my PTO. Told my boss everything. HR backed me up, no questions. Gave me the time I needed to figure out what came next. I didn't tell Laura I was off work. Still left the house every morning like usual. She didn't even notice. That's when I found this law firm, Stockman's Law. Run by two brothers, Greg and Frank Turner. Greg used to be a top DA. Real courtroom killer. Switched to family law after his best friend took his own life, after losing custody of kids he'd raised but never fathered. Left one word behind on a note, why? It wrecked Greg. Changed him. Frank was a Philly cop. Took down gangs, human traffickers, real monsters. His wife, Nia, got shot helping investigate a trafficking ring. 4 bullets. 1 in the head. She survived, barely. The other cop on scene ran. The bastards walked free when a witness vanished. Frank quit. Took his payout. Grabbed Nia and said, to hell with the system. He and Greg set up shop in central PA. Frank had taken down some real monsters, traffickers, gang leaders, the worst of the worst. His wife, Nia, was a cop too. She got caught in the middle of an internal sting operation, trying to sniff out a trafficking ring inside their own department. Word got out. Someone leaked. She took 4 bullets, including 1 to the head. Only reason she lived? Some old lady found her bleeding out behind a dumpster. The other cop with her? Did nothing. And the scumbags they were after? Walked free when the key witness suddenly turned up dead. That broke Frank. He quit the force, cashed out his pension, grabbed Nia, and told the system to go screw itself. He joined Greg. And together, they swore they'd help folks who got royally screwed. They set up shop in central Pennsylvania. When I first walked into their office, Greg looked at me and said, Mr. Carter, wish we were meeting under better circumstances. I looked him dead in the eye. Don't worry about that, I said. Let's just win. I handed him the tape. Told him I didn't want a patch-up. I wanted out. Quiet, clean, and final. Ask them to follow Laura for a month. Keep eyes on everything. I looked over at Emily. I had money saved, I told her. Hidden. Legal. Just in my name. She had no clue. Almost $1 million tucked away. I told Greg to track Todd too. Got permission to wire the house, the cars, everything was mine anyway. My jaw clenched remembering what came next. Frank looked at me and said something rough. If you want her to keep believing you're clueless, he told me, you'll have to sleep with her a few more times. Keep the act alive. I didn't even flinch. I didn't care anymore. She came to me a few nights later. I gave her what she wanted, cold, disconnected. No love in it. Just going through the motions. She moaned like I was a goddamn rock star. Whispered, damn, you wore me out, babe, and passed out with a smile. That night, I swore I'd never touch her again. I told her I had a work trip, said I'd be gone a few weeks. She acted sad, played the part. I knew better. I wasn't going anywhere. I headed to a cabin I'd bought with some inheritance money. She didn't even know the place existed. Stayed in touch with Greg while Frank kept tabs on everything. Then the tapes started coming in. Some were just meetups. Coffee, gym, dumb stuff. Others were in my house. My bed. 2 weeks in, Greg called me. We got it all, he said. You sure you want to see this? I didn't even hesitate. Yeah. I sat down, pressed play, and watched my marriage die on screen. It wasn't just cheating. It was filth. She never did any of that stuff with me. 10 years together, and I'd never seen her like that. And somehow, the night she tried to make it up to me, that was the only night she suddenly pulled out all the stops. On the screen, she was tied up. Crawling like a dog. Toys the size of my damn arm. He used her like trash, and she loved it. She laughed while he humiliated her. It wasn't intimacy. It was a joke. A twisted performance, and I was the punchline. I had to pause it. What gutted me the most wasn't even what they did. It was what they said while they did it. Todd looked straight at the camera and said, "Your man's a punk. Can't even satisfy you." And she laughed. Said, "Not like you. My husband's a joke. You're a real man." I shut it off. That was enough. I reached into the binder, grabbed a disc, and handed it to Emily. She stared at it. "Is this?" "Yeah," I said. "That's the proof. Your mom and Todd." She didn't scream. Didn't speak. Just cried. Quiet, broken. I softened a little. "There's more," I said, sitting forward. After that, I stepped out of the cabin. Greg and Frank were already waiting. I told them, "Get the divorce papers ready. But don't serve them yet. Not until I burn them both down." We started planning. No loose ends. No slip-ups. I looked at Frank and said, "Dig up everything. Not just for me. For Todd's wife, too. She deserves to know." I wanted her to see it all, and I wanted her to see it on the same day I served the papers. After that, I didn't do much. Just sat in the hotel, staring at the wall. My whole life felt like it had collapsed. I used to think Laura and I were some cliché love story, the nerdy mechanic and the cheerleader. But when everything fell apart, I finally got it. She never loved me the way I loved her. I glanced at Emily. She helped me through hell once. Back when I lost Grandpa Joe. He was my hero. Served in World War II, 101st Airborne. Freed my grandma from a concentration camp. We watched old Doctor Who the night before he passed. He never woke up the next morning. Your mom held me up through that. I thought she was real. Emily blinked. She got in a car wreck, right? I nodded. Yeah. Bad one. Her and her best friend Nicole got hit by a drunk driver. Nicole didn't make it. Your mom barely survived. The guy tried to run, but a neighbor saw the whole thing. My hands tightened into fists. She was shattered afterward. I helped her recover. She was barely hanging on. In court, she went off on that driver. Showed pictures, her and Nicole as little girls, then concert photos, then, the autopsy. Nicole's head was gone. She screamed, "Look what you did." She was my rock back then. I was hers, too. Told her I didn't keep weak people around. She toughened up. Won another cheer title and said it was for me, and for Nicole. I gave her a soft smile. She wasn't just the first girl I ever slept with. She was my best friend. But then my face went cold. I missed something. Or maybe I didn't want to see it. One day, I came home early. Thought I'd catch her in the act. But she was just surprised to see me. She didn't act guilty. Played it cool. I lied, said work needed me out of state. She bought it. I tapped the binder. That night, she wanted me. I gave in, I said. Played the role she wanted. But in my head, I already knew exactly what I was gonna do next. Emily frowned. What do you mean? I didn't answer right away. Just tapped the binder in front of me. When she passed out, I said quietly, I walked down the hall, into your room. Just stood there. Watched you sleep. You were my reason. My kid. And I knew then, it was time. My voice dropped to a whisper. I called Greg. Told him, send the photos. Send everything, to Todd's wife. It's time she knew. We need to talk. I paused, staring down at the table. Next day, I got a text. No name. Just. Silver Spoon Diner. 3 p.m. Don't be late. I looked up at Emily. I showed up. Saw her right away. Long, dark hair. Green eyes. Pretty, but not flashy. Just a plain dress. She looked like someone who didn't care much for appearances, or maybe didn't have the energy to anymore. She waved me over. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. I sat across from her. And then she said it. I saw the proof. My husband, and that which you married. She winced right after and said, sorry. I didn't mean. I held out my hand like I did that day. Reached across the table, touched hers. I'm not mad, I told her. You've got every damn right to be angry. You deserve the truth. I slid a folder across the table. It's all there, I said. Photos. Hotel bills. Screenshots. She used my money to fund their whole circus, bought him jewelry, designer shirts, the entire affair was on my dime. I let out a bitter chuckle. Classy, right? I stood up a little straighter, like I did that day, and extended my hand. For what it's worth, I said, I'm sorry. Mrs. Miller. She looked up at me. Something shifted in her eyes. My name's Rachel, she said. And I'd like your lawyer's number. That moment, I'll be honest, it caught me off guard. Even after being gutted by betrayal, she held on to her grace. I gave her Greg's card. Then I left. I looked away from Emily for a second before continuing. Later that night, I went back to Stockman's office. Told Greg Rachel might be calling him soon. Then I added, I want Todd served at work. I'll handle Laura myself. Greg smiled faintly, stood up, shook my hand, then pulled me into a hug. He dropped his voice. Whatever happens next, he said, we've got your back. You're gonna win this. I nodded, slow, steady, like I was still back in that office. Then I headed home. I paused, quieter now. I knew she wouldn't be there. Middle of the day. She was always out. I looked around the room like I was seeing it through a memory instead of my own eyes. The living room wasn't just furniture. It was history. We were young once. Broke. That first dinner we had in this house. KFC, sitting on the floor, 'cause we hadn't even unpacked yet. Too tired to cook. We made love on the old couch, like nothing else mattered. I glanced at Emily and smiled a little. You used to climb that couch just to watch Ninja Turtles. I wanted you to know the stuff I grew up loving. I wanted to pass it all on. Even our first real fight happened in that room. I was working too much. She felt neglected. But I remember how we made up, too, the tears, the hugs, the laughter. You and your mom, I said, used to sing karaoke in here. Horribly, by the way. Emily cracked a tiny smile. I filmed it. You passed out in my lap. She crashed on my shoulder. I blinked fast, trying to shake off the sting. I didn't cry for the couch, I told her softly. I cried for the life I thought I had. My voice cracked as I said it. I didn't cry for the house. I looked right at Emily. I cried for the life we built in it. Then I stood up slowly, remembering every step like it was burned into my memory. I left the divorce papers on the table, I told her. Her wedding ring too. And a disc. It had everything, photos, receipts, texts, every piece of the lie. I even left a note. I paused, looked at her again. It said, hope it was worth it. I took a long breath. Packed my bags, and walked out for good. I went quiet after that. For a while, neither of us said a thing. Then I added, a few hours later, my phone blew up. Calls. Texts. Voicemails. My voice went flat. Cold. Baby, pick up. It's not what it looks like. Don't throw us away. I love you. I clenched my jaw. I wanted to answer, I said. God, I wanted to scream that I didn't throw anything away. She did. She invited him into our bed. Laughed while he tore me down. Silence hung in the air for a moment. But I didn't answer, I finally said. She didn't earn that. I turned to Emily, locked eyes with her. I didn't see her again, until court. By then, I'd already moved out of state. Took a remote job. Only Greg had my new address. I held on to the old phone, though, the one she kept messaging. Saved it all. Put it in a bank box. Got a new number, new life. Then I smirked a little. Wanna know what happened to Todd? Emily leaned in. I didn't wait. Rachel kicked him out. Game night. He walks in thinking it's beer and football with the boys. She's got the sex tape queued up and hits play right there in front of everyone. I laughed under my breath. She let it roll, slapped him, grabbed her bags, and walked. No screaming. No fight. No kids. Just done. And while he's standing there stunned, someone taps him on the shoulder and says, Jeffrey Miller? You've been served. I smiled faintly. I stayed out of it. Let Greg handle that part. Your mom and Todd tried to stick together for a bit after that, I added. Guess two liars couldn't swing rent on their own. I leaned back, finally relaxing my shoulders. Then came the court date. She was already there when I walked in. Sitting beside her lawyer. She looked awful. Eyes sunken. Thinner than ever. Makeup couldn't hide the wreck underneath. When she saw me, she stood up like she wanted to hug me. I froze. Greg stepped between us, didn't say a word. Just blocked her like a wall. Then he muttered, her lawyer's a fresh-faced kid. All smiles. No spine. I gave a dry chuckle. Figures. The kid turned to Greg and grinned like an idiot. They're a great couple, he said. One mistake doesn't erase a family. Greg looked like he was about to eat him alive. Control your client, he told the kid. She's not sitting next to me for a reason. The kid tried to play it cool. Looked like he wanted to argue, but the judge walked in right then and shut his mouth for good. The hearing began. Christina's lawyer went first, all charm, all fake. He said she owned her mistake. Claimed she didn't want a dime, just a chance to fix things. Tried to paint her like some tragic wife who came home to a cold house and a goodbye note. Then he brought you into it, Emily. Said a child was stuck in the middle. That Laura wanted counseling. That if I refused, they'd sue me for emotional distress. I clenched the armrest. Hard. I damn near ripped it off. I was about to lose it. But then. Greg's hand landed on my forearm. That quiet signal. Steady. His look said, I got this. I sat back. Let him go. Greg stood, calm as ever. Looked the judge right in the eye. Your Honor, he said, my client wants to move on. He's giving up the house, to the same woman who made a decision. Not a mistake. A deliberate choice to cheat. And we have proof. This wasn't a one-time thing. It was repeated. Planned. And if he stays tethered to this, it'll destroy him. The judge gave a small nod. The hearing was officially underway. I rubbed the back of my neck as Christina's lawyer tried to spin the story. Said she felt neglected. Said I worked too much. That me leaving without a word was cruel. Then Greg's voice sharpened. But then Greg stood up, cool as ever, and cut right through their crap. He didn't waste time. Looked straight at her and asked, Mrs. Carter, did you cheat on your husband? No blinking. No warming up. Laura looked down, eyes shaky. Yes, she said. I did. I'll regret it forever. Greg tilted his head slightly. Calm. Controlled. A mistake, huh, he repeated. Was Todd forcing you? She froze. What? She stammered. Greg tapped his finger on the table, calm as hell. Fair question, he said. You called it a mistake, so what, he just tripped and fell inside you. Her lawyer shot up, yelling, objection. The judge slammed the gavel. Watch your mouth, counselor. Greg just gave a polite nod. Just making a point, Your Honor. Shows how ridiculous the word mistake sounds in this context. Then he asked, did you have some kind of brain chip that made you cheat? She gasped. No. That's when Greg pressed harder. I looked over at Emily. Let's be real, Greg said. You chose to sleep with another man. Laura said nothing. Tears welled up in her eyes. The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Carter, we need a verbal answer. I exhaled. She whispered, yes. Louder, the judge said. She snapped, I said yes, damn it. Watch your tone, the judge warned. Greg raised a hand, still calm. It's fine, Your Honor. Tensions are high. He turned back to her. Earlier you said it only happened once. My expression went cold. Laura looked at me, then back down. It happened a few times, she muttered. That's when Greg pulled out the envelope. Your Honor, he said, we have additional proof of Mrs. Carter's infidelity. May we play the disc? The judge nodded. I closed my eyes for a moment, bracing myself. The video started. Right away, it was obvious, moaning, panting, no mistaking what it was. Laura's face went pale. Everyone in that room knew exactly where it was filmed. A quiet little lookout spot just outside of town. The same place I first asked her to be my girlfriend. My voice cracked. And she still had her wedding ring on. The one I gave her. Then came the still photos, cheap motel dinners, her handing him her underwear under the table, and finally, our bed. My bed. I paused again, had to swallow hard. The judge shifted in his seat. I couldn't even look at her. Laura broke down, curled over herself, sobbing like a child. The judge cleared his throat. Court's adjourned until next month. I stood up, voice low. I didn't look back, I told Emily. Wasn't my job to fix her anymore. As we stepped out of the courtroom, I saw her, Rachel, standing by the door. I blinked. What are you doing here? She gave me a soft smile. You gave me the truth I didn't want to hear. I figured the least I could do was be here for yours. My chest warmed a little. Thanks, I said. She laughed gently. Also, my divorce is right after yours. 2 for 1 special. I grinned. Mind if I stick around? Return the favor, she asked. I'd really like that, I said. And so I stayed. I glanced to the side. When Todd walked in and saw us sitting together, his face dropped. Jaw locked up, eyes full of hate. I stared right back at him. Calm. Cold. Go ahead, I thought. Give me a reason. He didn't. He looked away first. That smirk vanished. His shoulders slumped. Rachel's case went down almost the same way. Todd tried to lie, spin things, deny it all. But then she played the tapes. Crystal clear. Brutal. Rachel didn't flinch. Just sat there and let the pain roll over her like a wave. You could feel it slicing through her every second. When it ended, she looked at me. Eyes glassy. Voice trembling. Get me out of here. Please. That was all I needed. I got us out fast. We didn't talk on the way. We were both hollowed out. Just, drained. We stopped for food, not because we were hungry, but just to feel something. Maybe try to figure out how we weren't enough for people we gave everything to. I gave her a faint, tired smile. Didn't know it yet, I said, but something started there. Not love. Not yet. Just 2 busted-up souls finding comfort in the same kind of wreckage. We sat across from each other, drinks untouched. Just staring into the ice like maybe it had answers we didn't. Then Rachel finally broke the silence. I don't get it, she said. Did I miss something? Did I mess up? I cooked what he liked. Washed his clothes. Stood by him when everyone else bailed. Helped him through the worst years of his life. My heart sank. I gave him everything. Loved him like crazy. Made him feel like a damn king in bed. And somehow, I still wasn't enough. She cracked right there. Just broke. I reached across the table and pulled her into a hug. The place was almost empty. The cook gave us a worried look, but we waved him off. He brought us free drinks anyway. Eventually, she stopped crying. I looked her in the eyes and said, unless you cheated or disappeared on him, this ain't on you. You were solid. Loyal. Kind. You cared. You're smart, beautiful, and got more heart than most people can even handle. If a man walks away from that, he's a goddamn fool. She gave me a teary smile and leaned in. Kissed my cheek. Thanks, Jack, she whispered. I mean it. After that, we ate. Quietly. No more tears. That wasn't the end of us. Court was set again for the next month. Till then, we kept in touch. Just check-ins. No pressure. No drama. Just real people, trying to breathe again. She was 24. No kids. I was older. We didn't talk feelings. Just pain. Shared pain. But pain builds bonds, whether you want it to or not. Then came their big moment, like something out of a bad high school play. Her lawyer stood up and said, Your Honor, my client admits her wrongs. She's not asking for money, just a chance to rebuild. Their daughter cries for her father every night. Should a child suffer because her parents fell apart? My jaw locked. I didn't speak. But a tear slipped down my cheek. I looked at Emily, and my expression softened. Still, I didn't say a word. Instead, I reached into the binder, pulled out an envelope, and laid it between us on the table. Before I keep going, I said quietly, You need to know. I always loved you. With everything I had. But what I did next, I had to do it. I met her eyes. And I told her the rest. I shifted in my seat, my voice steady. Greg stood, calm as ever. Your Honor, we request Mrs. Carter return to the stand. I nodded slightly. Rare move, but nobody objected. He turned toward Laura. Thank you for being honest, he said. There's been pain. No doubt. But the fact that you owned it? That counts. Laura nodded. I'll never forgive myself, she said. I hurt the man I love. I still love him. I just want to do right. I didn't react. My face stayed neutral. Dead still. Then Greg dropped the bomb. Mrs. Carter, he said, voice calm but cutting. Who is Emily's biological father? The whole room froze. Laura looked like she'd been hit by a train. The judge leaned forward. Her lawyer jumped up, flustered. Objection. This is irrelevant. The judge cut him off. One chance, counselor. You said you've got proof. Greg nodded. Yes, Your Honor. He turned back to Laura. Mrs. Carter, who is Emily's father? Laura's face twisted into something ugly. Her voice snapped, My husband. Jack Carter. No hesitation. She believed it, fully. Greg didn't argue. He just held up a sealed envelope. Your Honor, this is a DNA test, he said. It proves my client is not the biological father of the child he raised. Emily's breath caught. I didn't move. I let the truth fall over the room like a bomb. Gasps. Whispers. Disbelief. Greg kept going. We tested Mr. Miller too, he said flatly. He's not the father either. That sent the courtroom into full chaos. I tapped the table once. The judge slammed the gavel hard. Court in recess. 1 hour. I looked out the window like I could still see that moment happening in front of me. I stepped outside. Rachel was already there. She'd had her divorce earlier that morning. Turns out Todd had a pattern, married women. One day, he got caught by a husband who came home early. The guy snapped. Knocked his own wife down, then beat the hell out of Todd. Put him in the hospital. Todd never left it. Rachel got $150,000 in benefits, insurance, savings, the works. Walked away with $300 total. But happy? No. That's not the word. She sold the house, the cars. Moved into a 1-bedroom. Paid a year of rent up front, then just tried to start over. The man who put Todd down got arrested. Judge called it temporary insanity. Crime of passion. He walked. Left his wife half blind, half deaf. Then he vanished. Or just walked out. Later that day, me and Rachel sat down for lunch. I looked at her. I'm sorry you had to go through all that. She smiled faintly. Thanks, Jack. Then she laughed, bitter and hollow. You know what's crazy? I just found out my husband was screwing around behind my back. Lying. Playing me like a fool. And I still miss him. How dumb is that? My jaw clenched. Then she said, I should hate him. He wrecked me. And I still love him. What the hell is wrong with me? I looked at her, and then at Emily, like pulling her into the moment. I reached over, took Rachel's hand. There's nothing wrong with you, I told her. You're grieving the life you thought you had. That's not weakness. That's being human. You gave your all. He just wasn't worth it. She stayed quiet for a long moment. Then finally whispered, thank you. For saying that. For being here. Her eyes met mine again, this time, different. Like maybe, just maybe, I was the one she needed. I smiled, just a breath of one. We were close. Real close. Didn't even realize it. Then the spell broke, my phone rang. It was Greg. Judge was ready. 20 minutes, he said. I turned to Rachel with a half smirk. Rain check? Next Friday. 8. She smiled back. I'd like that. Then my face fell back into court mode. Everyone returned to the courtroom. Laura looked like a ghost, eyes empty, soul hollowed out. Maybe she'd already heard about Todd. The judge looked around. I've been in this courtroom over 20 years, he said. My job isn't drama. It's to do what's best for all sides. Then he turned to me. Mr. Carter, you're also filing against the school district? Yes, Your Honor. Claiming Mr. Miller used school time and resources during the affair? Yes, sir, I said, folding my arms. He turned to Laura. Marriage is a vow, he said. Through hell and high water. When you break that, you don't just break the bond. You break the home. He paused. Mrs. Carter, you made that choice. And now you carry that weight. Then he turned to me. Mr. Carter, though you are not the biological father, you raised this child with love. But given the damage done, this court grants the divorce. No child support. No alimony. The house will be sold. Profit split. Retirement accounts remain separate. I closed my eyes for a second. Let it hit. I hope you both find peace, the judge said. Court is adjourned. Greg shook my hand. Clapped my back. Then I saw Laura. Pale. Blank. She walked over like her soul was running on fumes. She stopped in front of me. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't blink. Then she turned and walked out of the courtroom. And out of my life. Then Kate whispered, You're not my dad. He gave a slow nod. No, he said gently, I'm not. She looked up at him, her eyes raw and red. She told me you ran, she said you left for some other woman. I blame myself, thought it was me that I pushed you away. Her voice faltered. Thick with emotion, but I still had Mom, she was my truth, or so I thought then. Her tone sharpened, cracked, but none of it was real. She said, You didn't leave me. She lied. The guy in her bed, not even my real dad, and the one who is, I don't even know his name. I don't know anything. I'm just a mistake, a joke. Kevin didn't interrupt. He just reached for the binder. Pulled out a folder and placed it on her lap. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside, a photo of a man she'd never seen. And a DNA report. Kevin's voice was steady. His name's Michael O'Donnell. He said went to school with your mom. Irish, 5 feet 9 inches, lean build, ex-army major, lives in Colorado now. Kate looked up, confusion on her face. Kevin continued, I don't think he knew she was with me. He said maybe he did, maybe not, but your mom cheated on me with him. I think she knew the truth and buried it. After court, I used the money from the lawsuit to track him down. He looked her in the eye. Not for me, for you. Kate stared at the photo in silence. Then she dropped it and lunged forward, hugged him tight. I'm so sorry, Kevin, she cried into his chest. Sorry for what she did to you. He hugged her back, firm, protective. You don't owe me an apology, kid, he said. You didn't do anything wrong. Then the Sound of tires on gravel cut the silence. Kate turned as a black SUV rolled into the driveway. 3 people stepped out. The driver, a striking woman in her early 40s, fit and graceful, moved with quiet confidence. Her hair was tied back, her eyes sharp but warm. Next to her a tall teen boy, 61, broad shoulders, brown hair, blue eyes like frozen lakes, and beside him a girl, same height, same face, same unmistakable energy. Twins. Kate stood slowly staring at them before she could ask anything. Kevin rose to his feet and walked toward the woman. He didn't say a word, just kissed her deep, familiar, like time had stopped. Then he pulled back and said softly, "Hey April, my love." He kissed her again, smiling into it behind them. The girl groaned with a grin, "Oh my God, get a room." Kevin turned, laughing. "Y'all really doing this in front of the kids?" she added. The boy chuckled. "Tara, they've been like that since before we were born." Chill. Tara rolled her eyes and nudged him. "Shut it, Marcus, you always got some comeback." Marcus winked. "Means I'm smart," Kevin called out. "All right, sitcom moments over, we've got company." He turned back to April. "Go help your mom with the bags," he said to the twins, then quieter to her, "April, can I talk to you?" For a sec she smiled and nodded, then noticed the figure standing by the porch. Her eyes locked onto Kate. She froze. Her expression shifted, something between surprise and realization. Kevin stepped beside her. "This is Kate," he said quietly, "from my first marriage." April blinked, voice barely above a whisper. "You look just like her." Kate's shoulders tensed. Kevin touched her arm gently. "She didn't mean it like that." "No," April said quickly, "I didn't. You just really take after your mom." She motioned toward the porch. "Come on, let's sit." They sat on the porch, Kevin, April, and Kate's shoulders close, a breeze cutting gently through the late afternoon air. No one rushed, no one filled the silence too quickly. Kate looked down for a second, then began quietly, "I grew up thinking he left. She said that he didn't want me, that I did something wrong." Her voice trembled. "Mom said he met someone else, said he walked out and never looked back." Kevin didn't move, he just listened. "She made it sound like you didn't care." Kate added, eyes on him now, "like I didn't matter," and I believed her. April reached out slowly, placing a hand over Kate's. "I'm so sorry," she said softly. Kate shook her head. "She lied for years, never told me anything real. I didn't even know his name until recently." Silence again, then Kate looked at them both. "So when did you two meet?" Kevin and April exchanged a glance. He smiled, a little crooked. "Believe it or not," he said, "dumb luck." Kate raised an eyebrow, waiting. Kevin leaned back in the chair, the memory warming his voice. "After the divorce I moved out here, started working remote, took mobile repair gigs to stay busy. One snowy afternoon I got a call, news van stuck on a farm road." He nodded toward April. "Guess who was behind the wheel?" Kate turned to her. April let out a soft laugh. "I used to study media before I married Jeffrey," she said. "Dropped it after we got hitched, but after the divorce I went back, got a job at the local station." She smiled. "That day our van died in the middle of nowhere, and the mechanic who showed up was Kevin." They both smiled at the memory, like a shared secret wrapped in snow and timing. Kate watched them quietly, a flicker of something gentler in her eyes. "We hadn't seen each other in a year," Kevin said, "but it clicked. We swapped numbers, started talking again, took time. Trust was hard, but we got there, got married a year later, then came the twins." April stood, walked to Kate and hugged her tight. "Kate, I'll be real with you, when I saw you I got scared, not of you. Just scared of what it might mean, but this isn't your fault or Kevin's. I'll defend him till the end. No man should be forced to raise a kid that ain't his, especially not when he's been lied to." She paused. "What happened to you was wrong, I won't deny that, but try and see it from his side. He loved your mom, thought you were his, and every hug, every smile we was a reminder of the lie. That kind of pain most people don't come back from it." Kate wanted to say yes, but deep down she knew the truth. "No," she whispered, "I couldn't." She broke down in April's arms. After a moment April pulled back and wiped Kate's cheek. "We're about to eat," April said gently. "If Kevin's good with it and you are, I'd love for you to stay." Kevin nodded. Kate did too. Dinner felt like a dream, loud, warm, real, a table full of laughs and stories. It was the kind of love Kate hadn't felt in years, not since she was little. Her bond with her mom had faded over time, gotten cold, like every time Christina looked at her she saw a mistake she couldn't fix. Kate didn't hate her, but after today they had to talk. The twins opened up. Tara was deep into art and poetry, had won national awards, Marcus state champ in wrestling, smart as hell, heading toward NASA, a brain and a beast. Everyone called him the jock nerd, and even though her day had started with her screaming and swinging at Kevin by dessert, she felt like part of the family. Later that night Kevin and April walked her out to the curb where her Uber waited. April touched her arm. "Kate, I know you didn't have a dad in your life, and after all this I No, it's a lot, but just remember what happened to you doesn't define you, Kate. Opened the door, paused, then looked back. Hey, I'm sorry about how this started. The whole attack you get my hand it to me thing, maybe once this calms down we can talk again. Kevin smiled, so did April. Yeah, Kevin said, we'd like that. The car pulled off across town. Christina sat alone, another glass of wine in hand, lost in old memories. She had never really come back from the wreckage of her marriage. Every day she thought about the family she blew up, about how it was her fault. After the truth came out, the school put her on leave. Later she worked again as a tutor. She had her degrees, her name still meant something, and when CO hit, tutoring boomed. Parents were scared or fed up with schools. Christina found her lane. She lived okay, but it cost her. Most of her time was spent dealing with her daughter. Wild, angry, hurt. She fought teachers, screamed at Christina, dated toxic guys, landed in jail once. Pills, fights, it all came from the same place. Thinking her dad bailed on her for no reason, Christina knew the truth, and every time she looked at her daughter, all she saw was a kid who just wanted her dad, and she hated herself for it. Her thoughts were cut off by the doorbell. She wiped her face, stood up, and opened the door. Kate stood there, eyes burning, a paper in her hand. Christina's face went pale. Where'd you get that? She asked, her voice already shaking. Why? Kate snapped. Why'd you let me grow up thinking he left me, that he cheated on you, that he ran off and didn't want me, that he hated me? Christina opened her mouth. Nothing came out. You played the sufferer, the poor wife left behind, but you were the one who cheated, not just on Kevin but on me. Kate's voice cracked. I'm not even his kid, and you knew that. Kate, please, what did you expect, that he'd raise someone else's kid and just smile through it, that he'd be your good little fool, pretend it was all fine? Kate's eyes filled with tears. I loved you, even with everything. I trusted you because you were mom. You were supposed to tell the truth, but everything you told me about Kevin, about Jeff, about me was a damn lie. She held up the paper. My real father, Michael O'Donnell. Christina gasped like she'd been punched. Kate nodded. Yeah, he told me about you too. Said he didn't know you were with Kevin, didn't even know I existed. Her voice dropped. Is it true? Christina's legs gave out. She fell to the floor sobbing. I was young, dumb. It was supposed to be a fling. Kate's voice went cold. And you let Kevin pay the price. You let him think I was his. You let me grow up without him. You used him. Is that what I am? Some mistake. You stuck on the wrong guy. No, baby, no. Christina cried. I love you, always have. Then why'd you lie for 15 years? Christina looked up, face-soaked, voice barely a whisper. I was scared. I never thought I'd get a man like Kevin. He gave me a real home. I messed up, but I never once regretted having you. I was weak. I tried to hide it, thought I could delay the truth, but it caught me, and now I've lost everything. She dropped to her knees, full breakdown. I broke the only man who ever loved me, and I took your dad away from you. I'm sorry, baby, I'm so sorry. Christina dropped to the floor, broken, sobbing at her daughter's feet. Kate stood still, no yelling now, just pain, disgust, sadness. After a long silence, Kate finally spoke. I'm leaving, Mom. Christina looked up, her face wrecked. Kate's voice was soft. I don't hate you, I still love you, but the lies, the cheating, you broke us. Maybe I'll forgive you someday, maybe I'll come back, but right now I can't, I won't. Christina nodded, too crushed to speak. Kate turned and walked to her room, grabbed a small bag, packed fast, just the basics. Back at the door she looked at her one last time. The hotel is letting me stay there for now. I've been a good manager. I'll save up, might get my own place. I don't know when you'll hear from me again, or if she paused. Goodbye, Mom. Then she walked out. Christina followed, but only to the door. She didn't call after her, she didn't beg, she just stood there watching the last piece of her life walk away. She turned toward the hallway mirror, stared at her reflection. Pale, empty, idiot, she whispered.